Hello my geniuses, welcome to another Parasitology video today. It's your great science tutor Lorenzo, and today we'll be talking about Balantidium coli. So Balantidium coli causes what we call balandiasis. So in our previous video we have talked about malaria, we have talked about toxoplasmosis, and we have talked about some video, even Giardia labia. So to be talking about the Balantidium coli. All of them are they are all protozoa diseases, and they are protozoa parasites too that affect humans and animals too. So we're talking about them little by little, and so for you to understand. So if you are just joining me now, be sure to subscribe and turn on your post notification button so that anytime I drop any video, you'll be sure to be notified. If you want me to make a video for you, drop it down in the comment section. I promise I'll make that video when I see it. So let us jump right into the video. So today we'll be talking about the Balantidium coli, okay? Because now in this part we are doing the protozoa parasites that cause protozoa diseases, and we have talked about some which is the Plasmodium, which is the Toxoplasma gondii, which is the Giardia labia. We talk about so many of them. So we're talking about all these are protozoa. So in the Balantidium coli now. So importantly, Balantidium coli is the largest protozoa parasite of humans. So it is the largest in population and the one that affects humans greatly. They are common in tropic region, and they are commensal in swines, which is pigs, which means they live in the body of pigs. Pigs are just their major host, their major carriers, which is not affecting. But in humans, they are parasitic. You get them now? They're parasitic to human, and much more that they destroy our body very well. But for pig, they just live in the body of pig, and the pig will be asymptomatic to it. But when they enter into the body, their pathogenicity is very high, and this can destroy, especially the intestinal mucosa. Okay, and so it is the largest protozoa parasite of human. It is usually found in the tropic region. I get it now. And for swines, which are pigs, they are just carriers, the way whereby cats are carriers of Toxoplasma gondii. I get it now. So they don't usually affect. So but for pigs just carries this Balantidium coli around, but they don't affect them. But when they enter into human, how do they enter human? Maybe when we feed on pigs, the pox of pigs that is uncooked or not cooked well, they can get into the body and they lodge it into our intestinal mucosa and destroy them. So the site where they are located in the intestinal mucosa. I get it now, which is the small intestine basically, and also the large intestine. So morphology now, what's their morphology? Here we'll be talking about the trophozoite. You get it now, the trophozoite and the cyst. So the trophozoite is oblong, spheroid and slender in shape. So you can see, just like your slippers. So they are oblong, spheroid and slender in shape. And their size is about 30 to about 150 micrometer, and also about 25 to about 120 micrometer. So based on length to breadth. So their length is about 30 to about 150 micrometer, while their breadth is about 25 to about 120 micrometer. So they are ciliated too. They have cilia in their body. So the cilia, look at them. Cilia are around the around the cell membrane, just in rows. You get it now. And they have macronucleus, and the macronucleus is like a bean shape. If you remember paramecium, now you know that paramecium has cilia. So Balantidium coli are paramecium like. So they are paramecium, and you remember in paramecium they have cilia, they have macro and macronucleus, and these are macronucleus. See, if you could see the macronucleus is just like a bean shape. You can see the macronucleus. Why their micronucleus are very small. So they have small micronucleus and a big macronucleus. So remember paramecium, and you remember the Balantidium coli. So also the cyst. Now remember I told you about the trophozoite and the cyst. Now the cyst is what? The cyst is spherical or oblong. So you can see it is spherical, it has a spherical shape. But the trophozoite can be oblong, it could be slender, it could be spheroid in shape. I get it now, which is much more larger than the cyst, because the cyst is about 40 to about 60 micrometer and could be spherical or oval. So you get it now. So based on the epidemiology now, where can you see Balantidium coli like very well? So Balantidium coli is what worldwide. You can see it everywhere, and much more. It is common in pigs. I get it now. So pig is the main reservoir of Balantidium coli. So when they enter into the pig, what happens? They grow inside the pig. I get it now. They convert themselves. They complete their life. They start their life cycle in pigs. I get it now. So when man or human or other animal feed on the pig, they become to be what when human or animal feed on the pig, they become systematic. But some human are asymptomatic. So if they take the Balantidium coli, based on their immunity, they are not really affected by the what parasite. Okay, now. So one thing, they are worldwide. Very well. You can see them everywhere. Remember, mostly in the tropic region, and they are the pigs is the reservoir. That's why they are commensal in what swamp, but pathogenic to your humans or other animals. Okay, now. So what is their life cycle? So if you are looking deep into their life cycle, so basically the pig or anybody that is having it, or maybe usually pig, apart from you eating the meat of a pig, what happens? You could ingest the cyst. You could ingest the cyst from the pig meat, because sometimes I told you in toxoplasmosis, what happens? I say that sometimes the cyst can go to lodge inside the tissue. Also in leishmaniasis, I told you that when it enters in the way, it enters as porozoite, becomes tachyzoid, from tachyzoid become bradyzoid, then bradyzoid it becomes your tissue cyst. So sometimes when they lodge into the muscles and the tissues of the pig, they become a cyst. So you can ingest it from food, or you can ingest it from contaminated water. Contaminated water in which the cyst from the pig, it could be from the feces or anyhow get in contact with the water, and if it gets to your body, you have ingested either in cyst form. So in cyst form in contaminated food or water. It could be now when you ingest it, what happens? It travels. I get it. So you are ingesting it as food or water, which means based on digestion, where will it go to? It will go into the intestine. I get him now. So it can go into the small or the large intestine. So first one, you ingest the cyst based on contaminated food or water. So when you ingest it, it goes to your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach. When it gets in your intestine, what happens? The cyst will what? Open itself. We call it encystation. So there will be encystation of the cyst. Are you getting me now? So now remember, when it enters your intestine, the cyst will open. When it opens, it will release what? Trophozoite. You are ingesting the cyst. You are ingesting it. And when you ingest the cyst, what happens? The same thing. The cyst will do what? Go into the intestine and become what? Encystation. So encystation will occur where the cyst will open. But usually all these things might occur in the pig because before we eat it. But if a human takes it, this is how it will occur. It will go into the intestine, encystate itself, like opening the cyst to release our trophozoite. The trophozoite will now multiply by what we call transverse binary fission in the large intestine. Yeah, now. So the trophozoite will what? Multiply by transverse binary fission, because now what happens? The encystation, which is the cyst that you take, have opened up to form a trophozoite. So the trophozoite will now multiply by binary fission, and when it now happens, now what happens inside the large intestine? Rather, what happens? The cyst, based on the cyst has opened, the cyst multiplies, destroy the wall of the intestine. When it destroys the wall of the intestine, it will, some particles of the cyst will now encysst itself again and go out as what? Feces. Are you getting me now? So that's the life cycle. Simple. Cyst, excistation, multiplication, encystation, passing out. So you ingest, the cyst ruptures to relieve trophozoite. Trophozoite does what? Multiply by binary fission. They destroy the intestine because they're latching on the wall of the intestine. So some of them are encysted. I get them now, encystation, especially in the rectum and some part of the colon, and you pass it through the stool. So that is the life cycle. Okay, now remember the place where it affects the human, usually the intestine, that is the intestinal mucosa, the small and the large intestine. So how can it be transmitted? How can human take it? Now you remember, you usually fecal to oral route, which means the feces of a animal, which is the pig, that release it, or any infected animal. If you release it through the feces, not that the human will eat the feces, but it can go into the soil, be component of the food product we eat, which can affect us. So it could be fecal to oral route. It could be associated poor sanitation for water, maybe. Also the fecal matter of the pig, which was used as fertilizer, and diffuse into the soil and contaminate our water, or it could be into the river in which is flowing that people use to drink. So poor water sanitation, and also swine. When you eat pigs, and when I say pig, not that you cannot eat it, but sometimes the cooking has to be high. The heat used to denature it has to be high. If not, it will affect. Okay, now. So the next one is pathogenesis and pathology. So how does it affect human? Because I'm taking it small. In the pathogenesis and pathology, what happens? Remember, when the excitation occurs, after the excitation, whereby the cyst will rupture to release trophozoite. Are you getting me? So trophozoite feed through the vestibule and the cytosome of the intestine. So you get it now. So immediately the trophozoite is multiplying, most of them, because they will latch on the wall of the intestinal mucosa. So when they latch in the wall of the intestinal mucosa, what happens? They will start producing what we call proteolytic enzymes. Again, now remember, fecal, which is the meat, it could be the tissue of the pig that is ingested, or the fecal matter that diffuses into the water. So when you take it, what happens? You are taking in the cyst. When you get into the intestine, it lodges on the wall of the intestine, and what encysts itself to release trophozoite. So trophozoite will feed through the vestibule and the cytosome of the intestine, thereby releasing what we call proteolytic enzymes. So when they release proteolytic enzyme will do what? Damage the epithelium. Remember, it is simple columnar epithelium that lines the intestine. Simple columnar epithelium. So what the proteolytic enzyme will eat up, are you getting now, the intestinal epithelium? Now, immediately it's eating up the intestinal epithelium, it goes deeper because it feeds to the mucosal layer, or the mucosal layer, because we have the epithelium, we have the lamina propria, we have the muscularis mucosa before we start having the submucosa. So it will eat deep towards the submucosa, like you are seeing the diagram. So it will eat towards the submucosa. And what makes it to eat that deep and becomes enlarged is hyaluronidase. So hyaluronidase also is released, part of the proteolytic enzyme. So it also releases hyaluronidase, which also helps to enlarge the damaged part of the intestine, creating a deep hole inside the intestine. So it causes perforation too. So the ulcer is a typical flag shape with a narrow neck. So you see the narrow neck of the ulcerated mucosa. So it forms a narrow neck and an undermining sac like cavity in the submucosa. So it eats up through the mucosa down to the submucosa. And remember, when there's ulceration, what does ulceration cause? Ulceration will cause hemorrhage. Are you getting it now? So there will be hemorrhage there. So remember, the trophozoite, are you getting now? When the trophozoite is released during excitation, what happens? They damage the intestinal mucosa by the production of proteolytic enzymes. Proteolytic enzyme will begin to damage the intestinal epithelium and start eating it through until it finishes up the mucosa and start approaching the submucosa. When it approaches the submucosa, it will release hyaluronidase, and hyaluronidase will enlarge that lesion until it forms a flag-shaped cavity with a narrow neck. So that colonic ulceration now will start causing bleeding. That place will be bleeding. And as it's bleeding, remember, so any feces, any waste product that is there, that's why you have to start passing out feces or waste product that is containing blood, because the intestinal wall are bleeding. Also, there will be lymphocytic infiltration due to the intestine rich in lymphoid follicles, especially the small intestine, Peyer's patches, the large intestine. So they have much more lymphatic follicles. So there will be lymphatic infiltration there, and also secondary bacterial infection due to that issue. So many bacterial infection will eat through to the submucosa. And remember, the submucosa contains the blood place. So when you eat towards the submucosa contains your nerves, your blood vessels, are you getting me? And sometimes your lymphatics. So when you eat too, it can start damaging your blood vessels, start infiltrating, and so causing what we call secondary infection. So don't forget, it is the trophozoite that causes damage. So when some part of the trophozoite encysts themselves and is passed out to the feces, so you should always know, due to this colonic ulceration, it could cause what we call, you'll be defecating blood. So always know. So what are the clinical features you see there? Number one, in some infection, it's first of all, it's usually asymptomatic. It's usually asymptomatic, but hey, you always see what you call a Balantidia or diarrhea. Always the diarrhea you see. Diarrhea because of you be when you go to the toilet, you'll be seeing bloody stool. You'll be having bloody stool. Yeah, and also there will be diarrhea in the sense of as the food is moving faster, it cannot absorb. There will be malabsorption, which means anything you eat will not be absorbed well because your intestine is already compromised. The structural part of your intestine is no more good again due to this bacteria, the Balantidium coli, has eat through your bacteria, have eat through your intestinal wall. Okay, now through it was trophozoite. So there will be what? Blood in the stool. Are you getting now? Apart from blood in the stool, there will be malabsorption. And as far as there's malabsorption, what happens? There will be what? Weight loss. So anything you eat, you will not use it. Your body will not use it. There will be weight loss. There will be massive weight loss. And due to this secondary infection, what happens? There will be fever. There will be chills. You get it now? Also, there will be, I told you there will be diarrhea because the food will be, there will be increase in peristalsis because the food present in the small intestine is supposed to take a long time. The contact time with the small intestinal wall should be about 3 to 4 hours so that most of them will be absorbed. So due to there's wound in the small intestine or the large intestine, what happens? The body will want to remove the food by all means. So that will be causing diarrhea. So there will be diarrhea, there will be discomfort. Why? Because as the food is scratching through the wall of that ulcerated part, what happens? It will produce pain because it will be irritating the nerve. So there will be pain. Are you getting now? Apart from pain, I told you there will be weight loss, there will be fever, there will be what? Restlessness because you always cry all the night. Are you getting now? Every day and all night, you'll be tired, you'll be weak because you don't have energy because your food are not be converted to what? ATP. So what happens also in severe case there will be amoeboic dysentery, which we'll talk about very well in the next video. You get it now? So what happens now? What is the highest complication at the affected site? Which we have talked about now. There will be necrosis and dislodging of the what? Of the underlying mucosa. Remember, when they start eating up to the submucosa, what happens? Due to those parts are not receiving blood and they are already damaged, what happens? First of all, there will be ischemic. After they become ischemic, due to low amount of blood supply to that part, what happens? They will start dying. So the large intestine and the appendix will also be affected. So it will start from the small intestine, go to the large intestine, but before it reaches the large intestine, it will affect the what? Appendix too. Okay, now. Also secondary infection, like I told you, due to those ulcerated parts, there will be secondary infection there, which will start doing what? Affecting us systemically by causing natural bacterial infection, sometimes traveling to the brain, infecting the lungs, infecting some other nearby organs. Your genital spread may also occur. It can go to the vagina. Are you getting now? Because of the relation between the intestine and the vagina. So it could also, the ulcerated part can leak to and start affecting surrounding organ, usually the urogenital organ, like the vagina, the uterus, the bladder, and all its surrounding what tissues. For the male, the prostate, the vas deferens and all. So how can you treat it? Are you getting me? How can you always remember CDT? So CDT is very, very important. You have what we call carbazome. So you use carbazome tablets. You could use carbazome. So when you use carbazome is a highly effective treatment. It's a drug designed to treat it. So you have carbazome. You have what we call diiodohydroquine. So you use it. So CDT, tetracycline. So tetracycline is an antibiotics you can also use. So you have carbazome, dihydroxyquine, and tetracycline, CDT. Don't forget. Why for trypanosome? So for prophylaxis, prevention and control, what should you do? Proper sanitation, always clean your surrounding every time. Also safe drinking water. You have to treat your water. Sometimes you boil them. Clean your surrounding because you don't know what is lying around, which could cause massive infection for you. So clean your surrounding very well. Safe drinking water. You have to boil water. Even though you want to take it from maybe borehole, you have to treat it with some important guide that will prevent it from causing you harm. Proper personal hygiene, baby. Before you eat, you with your hand, you have to wash your hand very clean. And when you want to eat or when you want to drink, you have to make sure even your clothes, because you don't know where you have sat down, where you are coming from, who you have met. Any of these could be carrying this strain which can get into your body. Also, proper disposal of waste of usually feces, because sometimes the feces could contain a strain of Balantidium coli, and if it enter into the body, it can cause basically very bad stuffs. Also, proper handling of pig and pig waste for those rearing pigs. Also, there's proper way you can treat them and make that, even though we know pigs are dirty, but you should have a safe way to treat them well and to clean them well, so that there will be less amount of disease spread among them. So quick reminder, always remember, for those that are just joining or for those that don't understand, remember the reservoir for Balantidium coli is pigs, because they are asymptomatic to them, and the cause is what we call balandiasis, and the transmission is always fecal to oral route when you ingest the cyst of a contaminated food or water. Are you getting now? And also poor sanitation, and also when you live around pigs also. Again, and so it is very, very bad, because sometimes it can cause dysentery, weight loss, malabsorption. It could cause bloating, it could cause diarrhea, a lot of things. So hope you understood everything I've talked about. So if you are just new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on your post notification button, so that anytime I drop any video, you'll be sure to be notified. If you want me to make a video for you, drop it down in the comment section. I promise I'll make the video for you. So we're moving into the next topic today, which is what enter-amoeba species. We'll talk about the enter-amoeba species and the issues and the pathogenesis they occur and the disease they cause to your human. Bye bye.